Hi, everyone. Okay, a couple questions came in about the video, so I decided to re-record it to make sure I covered everything in one spot. Okay. I have put on Google Classroom only one assignment. I like it because I can make changes without emails going to the student saying I've edited the assignment. I can make changes to the materials. I can add to the materials each week, and everything is in one spot. Okay. I am going to use Google Classroom for grading, but everything is in one spot. So you're welcome to my message, but everything is going to be here. I'd be happy to share that with you if you like. But I wanted to tell you how I have it set up so that I only have one thing on Google Classroom for the whole unit. Okay. A lot of students are saying they're getting super overwhelmed with all of the emails on Google Classroom. Plus, it shows up, every assignment shows up as another thing on their Google Calendar. It's overwhelming, they're saying. I think they'll get used to it, but at the same time, they aren't used to getting a ton of emails. So I've been working on my stuff. I've been creating my unit, and it's all in one spot. So this is what I shared with students today, right? I've got, hey, everybody, the information. I told them about what our unit is going to be about and gave them a unit overview. Instead of this being another link on Google Classroom, everything is in one space, one slide deck, to the point where I was like, go ahead and bookmark it. Now, this is my copy. I made a copy for them, but this is mine, so I can continue working. I provide them with, these are going to be your assignments for the week, and this is how I would spread it out, but you can knock it all out at once if you want. And I provide them with a calendar that has everything that they need all in one place. And I even go so far as to highlight this week. That's why it's in yellow. Because right now, time is hard to understand. So on Monday, every Monday, I have an SEL check-in form. What's your name? How are you feeling? Is there anything that you need from me? Anything I can help with? And then there's a space here where it says our week's materials. That will be linked for this week. On our calendar, it is linked for this week. All right. So they would click that and they would get the copy of the week one stuff. Okay. So here's the week one stuff. I go through the lesson. I'm recording, right? I did my recording. Instead of having the recording be another thing on Google Classroom, I just put the link to it here on this one slide. So everything's all in one spot. I like using Loom for this, but also, you could put your recording on YouTube. That way you don't have to keep it downloaded on your computer. They don't have to download it on their computer. All the downloads I know is also really causing some strife for some kids. Okay. So I have the link to it. It goes to my Loom or to YouTube. YouTube's really easy once you get used to it. I promise. It's like 3 clicks and you're done. So I went through my lesson. We talked about annotating. We watched a video so we could practice. Of course, the video did not work properly, right? It's just real life. So all I did was I took the link to it, right? Click, 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 click. Took the link and I put it into the chat. I was like, okay, it's 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Go watch it and come back and we'll talk about it. I did my modeling here. And so that way they have access to it as well. They can look back at it. I talked about a thesis statement. We practiced thesis statements from the students. Cool. So, okay, so here's what you're going to do this week. Here's how I would break it up or knock it out today, whatever works. But here's where this kind of magic comes in for the kid. I've got 2 different things. I've got the materials, and I say do a split screen, put the materials on the left. All of the work you're going to do, put it as a split screen, push it to the right so you can look at the material, and then you can fill it out over here. Look at the material, fill it out over here. This is also great for me because all of the students' work is in one spot. I don't like that Google Classroom fills up my drive. That's an annoyance for me. So I like that I can look at their work in one spot. Case in point, okay? This week, they're going to look at a couple different articles, video. They've got some other assignments to do. This would end up going on the left if they did a split screen. And then their skills work would go on the right so that they could read and write about it. Read and write about it. But it's all in one spot. You can differentiate as well. I'm using Newsella. So I have this article here and I have it differentiated into different levels so that we can all talk about it if we're all together or if a kid needs to jump into the other class. We can all talk about the same topics, but it's differentiated for the different levels. So then they have some other assignments or whatever. When I'm done with the week 1 slides, I can highlight them all, right, as soon as they're ready. And I copy it and I put it into these. Okay, so this is the student copy. This is on Google Classroom as view only. Okay, so as you can see, they're working on it, right? View only, view only, view only. That way, if there is an error or something, I can make an adjustment. It is not another email. It is not me going into every single classroom to change things. I can change it in here and Google Classroom is left alone. Okay, everything remains the same. So for week 1, I would take this slide link, right? So that when they click it, it jumps to week 1. And I'm going to put it on our calendar. Like I would put it right here, click, click, and I would put it there. That way on Monday, check-in form, here are my materials. It opens up, they move it to the left. They open up their skills work, and they put that on the right, and they work away. When I'm ready with my week 2 materials, I will copy it, right? And I will put it into the student copy down here at the bottom. And I would add week 2 and I would put it into our calendar. I have everything up here to make my life easier instead of going through my drive. So here's my form responses for my SEL check on Mondays. Here's our calendar. Here are my slides so I can do my work. When they're ready, I copy it into the student copy. And then here are the templates for them to complete. Everything's all in one spot. Easy peasy. Okay. So I add that link to the calendar for week 2. Click, click, put it into our week 2 materials, and they can keep going. Their skills practice looks like this. All I did, right? I apologize, one moment. This is view only, which means I can keep making edits. This was one of the questions that people kept asking in the emails. Okay. This is view only, which means I can make edit to it without problems, right? So if something happens in week 2, like in the world, I can change the article really quick and there's no issue when it comes to Google Classroom. The most common question I got after that video is, but wait a minute, if I post it and make a copy for each student, then I can't adjust any things, right? Yes, you cannot adjust things once you make a copy for each student on Google Classroom. You're absolutely right. So instead of making the materials of the make a copy for each student, instead of that being so ultra specific, it's actually really generic. I gave them this template. I know that I want them to do a couple annotations and thesis statements for a couple different articles. So I put 2 in here for this week. I know they're also going to be working on some other things, and so I put those in here as well. At the end of each week, they write a reflection email to their advisor, to me, and to a supporter at home, just to kind of keep the communication going and to come from the point of view of the student. Even though the student, oh yeah, and then I wrote a little note like, ta-da, you're done for next class. Go, be free, be happy. Even though the students don't yet have access to the week 2 materials, I do know what they're doing week 2, so I provided the blank templates. See, here it's like replace with the title of the material. I know right now what article I want them to use, but just in case something pops up, I'm leaving it blank. And here it just says replace with the title of the material. So I put the templates that they need to complete in here. And again, with the reflection email and good job, you're done, you're ready for next week. I will be able to see student progress in here and I will be able to provide feedback, right? I will give them comments right? I will give them feedback every week, but I'm not planning on grading their skill level until the end of the unit, 4 weeks. By the end of the unit, they will have read or viewed or analyzed, I don't know, a dozen or 15 different materials. And they will have written 2 essays. They will have all these things, right? But everything is only one post on Google Classroom. So here it's, hey, everybody, I hope you're doing really well. Here's our calendar, right? And then it's going to take you to the weekly check-in form and then the materials, put the split screen together. It's just reminders. It's like, just so you know, here's your week at a glance. This is what we're going to be doing. So I've got the calendar with the link to the materials. That's view only. And then I've got their slides of all the work that they need to do. And that one is make a copy for each student. This one I cannot change, but I knew the quantity of work and what assignment types I would have them do. And that's why I was able to use the templates, right? So this builds. And by the end of it, they will be doing left and right annotations. They'll be doing soapstone. They'll be writing a thesis, and they'll be coming up with different potential body paragraph topics and evidence. Excuse me. But I know that that's what's happening. So even if I change the material later in the month, I know that this is something that I want them to be doing. At the end of the unit, instead of that 1 week email, like the weekly email, I have one that has a reflection for the whole unit. Again, it's only a couple things on Google Classroom. It's one post, your September work. So they're not getting a ton of emails from me. I hope that's super useful. I hope that answers some questions. If you want some of these materials, I'm happy to get you some copies of those. Please let me know how I can help. If you have a concern or an issue that you're trying to find a solution for, you wish there was a solution for, please let me know and I'll get to work right away. All right, everybody. Hang in there. It's week 2. I'm telling you, everything should start becoming a little bit second nature by week 3. We're a third of the way there. All right. Take good care.